There's nothing that we really need this morning, so you can just come to the mat, and very warm welcome to all. We will begin in a seated position on the heels. Now we're approaching an extended child's pose from here, so if you can't sit like this, please find your way there early. If you prefer your legs closed, that's cool, but you might as well open the knees out in the morning. We're sometimes a bit challenged with that. You could step down onto your hands and then very carefully make your way forward into a shape. Now, if you feel any pull in your back, toes tucked under is a nice release here. And you could also leave the head on a block or on a support. Maybe your head comes all the way down towards the floor. These are just explorations for yourself to notice what your body is responding with and then choosing accordingly. If you've made your way all the way down towards the floor, allow yourself a few breaths where you're just starting to notice how the body responds to the shape. What it actually means for you to have that little pressure of belly to thighs, maybe the forehead to the floor, the pressure you might experience in the legs or the knees. And allowing yourself for a few breaths to then notice just the sensation of breathing and nothing more. In the last few weeks I've been talking about the yamas, guidelines for living in yoga. We've moved from the first, which was ahimsa, non-violence, to the truth that is satya. And we would like to apply that on the mat as well as in our lives. Speaking the truth, considering not to harm, and always applying that same thing to ourselves. As today we will look into Ashdeya, non-stealing, non-hoarding. So maybe considering how you are cluttering up your life, if you do, accumulating things that you think you need. And oftentimes we might need them, but maybe not to that extent or that amount. It could be as simple as yoga pants, or for me, maybe yoga books. As we compensate oftentimes anything that we're lacking, buying more than we need, be that things like that, or even plain food. So you're allowing yourself to free up a bit more in your practice. And as we all know, when we bring awareness to areas of our life, of our body on the mat, we're preparing for change. We'll change from here. As you take your next inhale, lift away from your heels and rise up onto all fours. You might adjust the positioning of your knees and adjust the place where your hands are positioned. Grounding down through bases of fingers and the pads of the fingers to engage into Hasta Bandha or hand lock. Becoming strong through the shins and the tops of the feet. And as you take your next breath in, just simply extending out through the left leg, so that the toes are pointing down towards the ground and the heel is the furthest point backwards. With your next breath in, reaching your right arm forward, turning the thumb up towards the ceiling as you hold on the in-breath. And on the out-breath, drawing together your elbow and knee and rounding your back. On the in-breath, extend back out through the heel and into the fingers forward. And breathe out to repeat, elbow, knee coming together underneath. On the in-breath, reaching forward. On the out-breath, curling in. Reach forward once more, but hold. Turn the thumb of your right hand to face to the floor. And breathe in to swing that arm out to the side and then by the side of the body. Bending the left knee. Now, you can stay at any stage in this process, maybe reaching for the foot or the ankle. And if you do bring that foot into your hand, lift your heart and lift your gaze. Then release the hand down, the knee down, and briefly stretch back to where you came from and extend it to child's pose. On the inhale, returning onto all fours. Please make sure you're still using your legs and Hasta Bandha in your hands. And when you're next inhaling, extending out through the right heel. Same here, the toes are facing down with that, the hip is facing down. And with the next breath now, lifting your left arm forward, extending, the thumb is pointing up. And on the out breath, then bringing elbow and knee together, rounding the back. Inhale, lead from your heel and extend. Exhale, curl in, nose, knee, elbow. And one more, inhaling, extending. And exhaling to curl in. As you inhale now, extending again. We will hold here and the thumb of your left hand is turned towards the floor. And as you take your next inhale, circle that arm down by your sides. Bring a bend into the right knee. If you can reach, take a hold of the foot. Bring the foot into the hand and open the chest and your gaze. So as back bends. And releasing the hands down, the knee down, and the buttocks back towards the heels. We'll change things a little bit now. So walking the hands up towards the knees and then on top of the thighs. If this is not comfortable for you to sit, maybe knee, hip issues, please sit in a different form and lengthen through your spine. Not only do we look into our challenges and maybe even flaws, but also into empowering ourselves. So let's touch the backs of the hands together and breathe in to lift the arms out in front. And while you're breathing out, just soften down through the shoulders. On the next inhale now, lifting the right hand to the ceiling, take the gaze with it, lift through the heart space. And when you're next exhaling, circle that arm behind you. Now, looking into the open to your side. And as you breathe in and out, think about drawing light into your body or your being. Confirming to yourself, life is on my side. Now turn the palm of the right hand up. Inhale, lift your arm, your gaze. Exhale and bring the backs of the hands together in front again. Allow a full in and out breath now. And when you then inhale again, lifting the left arm, the gaze, the sternum. And as you're breathing out, taking that arm behind you. Opening your gaze out towards the side. Again, concentrate on your breath, the light that you draw in as you breathe. Reconfirming again, life is on my side. Then turn the left hand to face upward. Inhale, lift your arm, your gaze, the sternum. And exhale, draw the backs of the hands together. And then rest the backs of the hands down into your lap. Briefly close the eyes, steady your gaze. Noticing. Take an inhale now. And as you're breathing out, let your hands slide down your thighs and returning into extended child's pose. On the in-breath, come back up onto all fours, and you might want to adjust your limbs again to bring knees to hip distance, hands to shoulder distance. Grounding down so we come into power and strength. And as you take your next breath in, extending your left leg back once more, still leading out with the heel of the foot. And either repeating what we've already done or lifting the left arm forward, thumb pointing upward. So same side arm and leg. Turning the thumb of the left hand down, and as you inhale, swing that arm out and along the side of the body. You can start to turn this more into a side plank as you open. And potentially bending the knee to catch the foot and bringing the foot into the hand as you're opening to your side. If you happen to spontaneously sit down onto the floor, have a giggle. Releasing your hand down, bringing your knee down, and while you exhale, stretch the hips briefly back to the heels. On the in-breath, coming back to all fours. Mind your solid stance and support against the mat. And as you breathe in now, extending the right leg back. Leave the toes again pointing to the floor for now. Hip alignment. And then as you might come ready, lifting the right arm forward. Let the thumb point upwards as you try and achieve some balance. Then turn the thumb of the right hand downwards and take a breath in to circle that arm out to the side and then rest it on the side of your body while you begin to turn into the open. Maybe bending the knee and reaching for the foot. If you can catch it, push the foot into the hand. Right, that arch in your back. And then release that down. And again, stretching once more towards the heels. On the inhale, rising onto all fours. Now it's your choice to stay here or to tuck the toes under, lift your knees off the ground and come to downward facing dog. So all fours or downward facing dog. Lifting with the left leg. As you inhale, move out through the left heel. Pointing your toes then, and as you're exhaling, bring your knee forward, maybe help the foot, but also lower your back knee to the ground. Swinging your right foot across to the left-hand side of your mat. Releasing your head down, and then slowly rolling up through the spine As you inhale, extend your arms up. And as you breathe out, let the arms open now into a kneeling warrior two. I've chosen to turn my palms up towards the ceiling, but you could have yours facing down. Ground down through the front foot, keeping hips open, the gaze into the palm of the hand. Gesture to receive, to be open for that is to come, and maybe that's a part of self-discovery. As you next inhale, lifting the arms back up. Now when you're exhaling, swing the arms behind your back and interlace the hands there. Draw the arms down your back as you lift through the sternum and lift an open throat and gaze. And when you're breathing out now, start to lean with your left shoulder to the inside of your left knee. Let the head go. And if your shoulders are fine, start to lift the arms away from your back. A kneeling, humble warrior shape. As you release the interlace of your hands, placing both hands down on the inside of the front foot, your left foot. Swing the right leg back into alignment with your mat. And you could roll to the outer edge of the left foot, letting the knee drop out to the side, or you might walk your hands forward and lean your hips forward. As we release this short stretch, swing the left foot back and retreat again into a child's pose. On a breath in now, coming again onto all fours. Your choice to stay here or tuck toes under and explore another downward facing dog. We're lifting the right leg up, breathing in, lead out through the heel for hips. Pointing the toes as you exhale, bring the knee forward. The foot, you might help the foot. And you could also swing the left foot across to the right side of the mat. Collapse as you let the head hang down, release. And then curl yourself up and take a big breath in to also extend your arms towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, open the arms to a warrior two on your knees. Arms can face up or down, looking forward to the front hand. Feel where the foot is positioned at the front of the arch is lifted. And are you ready in your inner strength to face what this day has to offer? On your next inhale, lifting the arms again. On the exhale, circle your arms right behind your back. And as you interlace the hands here, changing maybe the finger on top. Let the arms come down your back, open through your chest, open your throat, inhale. And as you exhale, lean with your right shoulder down towards the inside of the right knee. Let the head release so the neck can relax. And maybe lifting the arms away from the back if your shoulders are happy with that. Humble warrior. Isn't it humbling in general to look at oneself? Be that the non-stealing aspect of our being or the truth. Releasing the hands down to the inside of this foot. And you could choose to roll onto the outer edge of the right foot while you realign your left leg with the mat. And maybe leaning forward into the hands and the hips, letting the right knee fall away from the body. We will come back up from here, planting down through the right foot and changing hands to either side. Tuck the toes under of the left foot and lift through the knee, and we'll step the foot to the front. Let's take a half lift on the inhale and folding down on the exhale. Repeat the waterfall a couple more times, lengthening to the front, Adho Uttanasana, your half lift, and the Uttanasana, the standing forward bend on the out breath. Inhaling, lengthen your spine. Exhaling, length through the back body. And stay here as you breathe in. And then engage the lower abdomen in the direction of your tailbone to support as you breathe out to roll up slowly into standing. Please do stand on the front of your mat. Have your feet in a solid stance. I don't know what that means for you. Mine is usually hip distance, but it could be your big toes touching and just the heels of heart. Allow yourself to really ground through the feet and reach up through the crown of the head. And touching the backs of the hands together, as you inhale, lifting your arms up in front of you. Let your shoulders soften down while you're breathing out. And on the inhale, lifting once more the right arm, your chest, your gaze. And as you exhale, bring that arm behind you and turn yourself towards the open. Leaving your hips facing forward. This is just a twist into the spine. So encourage the hips to face to the front as you breathe to invite light into your being. If you like to reconfirm, life is on my side. Turning the palm of this right hand up as you inhale, lifting the arm, the gaze, and touching backs of the hands together at the front as you breathe out. Inhale and exhale. As the next inhale comes, lift the left arm, rise up with your gaze. And as you breathe out, take that arm behind you. Again, keep your hips facing towards the front. Your firm stance, but look over to the side, inviting light as you breathe. Maybe once more, reassuring yourself. Life is on my side. So turn the left hand up. Inhale, lift this arm, lift your gaze. And while you bring the backs of the hands together briefly at the front on the out breath, lower them down and open the palms of your hands towards the front into mountain pose. We will change our shape in preparation for the dancer or Natarashasana. So the right hand is opening or stays open. You're lifting the right foot by bending the right knee. And if you can catch it, take a hold, your choice, inner, outer edge of this foot. Bring your knees back together. Lifting through the other arm, and you could have a mudra in your hand. Before you bring the foot back into the hand and open your heart to the front. Please let your knee come straight back behind you, even if you're not holding on to the foot. So from this place, we're releasing the foot down and we're coming back into mountain pose, resisting urges to adjust yourself and urges to move. accepting that sometimes we're not perfectly comfortable. Leaving the left hand to face open now as you bring a bend into your left knee to lift the foot off the floor. If you can reach, take a hold of the foot, inner or outer side, your preference. Bring your knees back together once you did. And then maybe lifting through the arm, and if you like, coming into a mudra. Taking the foot back into the hand if you're holding on, or just lifting the knee from behind. Keep your chest and gaze open, be strong in the leg you're standing on. Make sure the knee or the hip isn't really opening to the side, but facing down. And then release. Step the foot down, releasing back into mountain pose. Next breath in, extend both arms up. Even open up the arms and lift up. Then soften your knees as you bring your hands to touch and find your way down into Uttanasana, your forward bend. On the in-breath, half lift. On your out-breath, stepping your left foot back. Lower the heel of the left foot to the ground. Breathe in and let your upper body relax. Breathe out, start rolling up through the spine. Breathe in and extend your arms to the ceiling. Keep a bend in the right knee. And as you're exhaling, let the arms open into a warrior two. Now we're practicing this standing. So be aware that the feet have a lot of work to do as you ground down through them with the arches lifted. Gaze is forward into an open hand or towards the fingertips. And with your next inhale, the gaze might lift up, so do your arms. And then with the out breath, let the arms come behind your back and interlace the hands here. Draw the arms down as you lift through your heart, open your throat and gaze. And for the exhale, humble warrior, right shoulder towards the inside of the right knee. Let the head go, lift the arms away from your back. And check back in with the foundation of your shape. Are you still grounded through the feet? Can you feel that gentle pressure down through the outer edge of the back foot? So we're trying to shift some of the weight into the other leg. Now release the hands, bring them down on the inside of the front foot. With the next inhalation, let your left arm brush up the right, side angle pose. The arm might extend towards the ceiling. It's okay to lift the right hand off the floor and even bring the forearm to the thigh. If you choose that modification, press down into the thigh to get extra strength in the sides of the waist. Please make sure that the body isn't collapsing. So rather lifting a little bit off the floor than reaching towards the ground. And we'll change another little thing. As you inhale, straighten the front leg. As you do, there's a whole lot more changing. We bring more strength into our legs. We're adjusting the strength within the pelvis. And we're reaching back out along the spine. One more breath. And then start rolling in your fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulder, bend the knee, take the hands to the mat and step back into downward facing dog. Once you're in the downward facing dog, take an inhale and roll the spine forward into a plank. Pause in the plank. Knees can be on the floor if you prefer, but the tailbone is going right back towards the heels. And as you're taking your next exhale, keep your elbows snug and lower down onto the mat. Resting the forehead down onto the floor. Keeping your right hand underneath your shoulder and letting the left arm come alongside your body. Your choice of keeping that straight, but you could also bend into the left knee and take a hold of the left foot. As you breathe in, bring that foot into the hand if you're holding on, otherwise lifting straight arm and leg, and also ground down through the right hand, holding in a half Dhanurasana, half bow pose. Pushing gently down into the top of the right foot. Inhale. And then exhaling to release. Your left hand aligns back with the lower ribs. And the right arm now comes down along the side of the body. You can choose to keep arm and leg long or bend the right knee. If you do, you might want to catch the foot. With an in-breath, either just lifting up or also bringing foot into the hand. Ground down through the left hand to try and level out the lift in your chest. Maybe the knee comes off the ground. Please hold here, a few more breaths. And then releasing that down. Hands coming alongside the body, arms extending, and bringing your favorite ear to the mat as you pause. Let yourself relax for a while, and if you want to move gently to release, you could wiggle the hips, swing your legs. Please do stay present in this moment as you observe the response of your body. Before turning the head back into the center and placing the hands next to the ribs. Push into the mat as you take a breath in and retreat into an extended child's pose as you're breathing out. On the inhale, then coming back up onto all fours. Either stay here or breath out for downward dog. You can choose now to walk a step or even jump the feet to the top end of your mat. Rising up for a half lift while you inhale. And bending forward for the exhale. Let's stay here inhaling. Engaging the lower abdomen for an out breath to roll up into standing. And while you take a breath in, lifting the arms, opening the arms. Stay here, ground through your feet, leave the shoulders relaxed, the fingers open as you invite even more light into your body. With the next out breath, then touch the palms, soften the knees, and fold back forward. On the inhale, a half lift. On the exhale, stepping the right foot back. Ground the heel as the hips turn lightly open. Let your upper body relax, the head hang down. And with the exhalation, starting to roll up into standing. And while you inhale, extend both arms up, keeping your left knee in a bend. And on the out breath, then let the arms open, arriving in a warrior two. So same choices here, palms can face up or down. But you're engaging deeply into the legs now. Kind of with all of the other movements, forget about our feet and our legs. So center the torso, look forward, find that solid stance. Maintaining the solidity in your stance. As you inhale, lift the arms and your gaze. And when you're exhaling, let the arms reach behind you again, changing maybe that interlace. And as you lengthen down the arms, open your chest, open throat and gaze. And with the out breath, then leaning your left shoulder down to the inside of your left knee. Head can be loose, and you could lift your arms away from your back. That is if your shoulders are happy with that. It's a deep extension here, but there's a lot of weight coming forward. And if you've got a feeling that your front knee is falling inwards, utilize the shoulder for a careful guide to remind yourself that the arch of that front foot is still active, which is then really what aligns the knee. You've got that back leg too, so be aware of it. Releasing the hands down to the inside of our left foot. As we approach side angle pose, take an inhale, slide the right hand up your left arm and then extending the arm potentially. No need to keep the fingers on the floor, even option to support the forearm on the thigh. Side angle. Same feet maybe, but here comes a change. As you inhale, straighten the left leg. Find Trikonasana, allowing yourself to shift in the weight bearing in the legs, within the pelvis. Maybe open up the body more. Take one more inhale here, and then start to fold in your fingers, your wrist, your elbow, roll down. Soften the knee, take the hands to the mat, step it back, down dog. On the inhale, roll the spine forward once more into a plank or a kneeling plank. Your choice, tailbone goes in the direction of the heel, so the core is on. And waiting for your next out breath to lower down onto the mat. Keep everything engaged until you landed down. Let your arms, both of them, come alongside the body. Keep your feet pointed or tops of the feet on the mat. Shalavasana, or the locust, as you breathe in. Lifting your legs, your head, your chest, and your arms. Even try and push out through the balls of the feet. Stretch into the fingers. Hold and breathe. And with the out breath, release towards the mat. We'll do a second round or a full bow pose if you prefer. If you go for the second round, keep legs long, turn your palms in the other direction, maybe down to the ground, up to the ceiling. If you want to go full bow, please bend your knees, take a hold of your feet or your ankles in that case. With the in-breath, we will all lift off the floor. For some, it will be a reach up. For some, it will be moving the feet back into the hands. If that is you in that full bow pose, please engage the adductors, the insides of your legs, so that the knees remain at a maximum hip distance apart. We'll hold here 2 more breaths. And once you've completed those, you will release to the floor, leave the arms by the side, turn your second favorite ear to the floor and relax. Any movement or wiggles are very welcome. Noticing how the body's systems are slowing back down. As we begin our transition into child's pose, Once that has happened, hands go by the sides. Breathe in, come up, and breathe out to sit back towards the heels into our starting position, Balasana, or the child's pose. Resting here for 2 more breaths. And then walking your hands back up towards your knees, then onto your thighs as you rise up into a seat. Or you can drop over from the heels and extend your legs out at the front. I will even move forward a bit on the mat. So we're sitting here in our staff pose, or Dandasana, hands down by the sides for now, toes up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Breathe out, round your back a little. Hands could lift off the floor if you're feeling strong, or hands go a little bit back. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, roll down a fair bit more. Inhaling, get a lift. And exhale, slowly releasing down onto the mat. Asking you for our last movement to step your feet down onto the ground, release through the pelvis, and then give both knees a squeeze in. Allow the knees to come really wide now. Love to finish with a happy baby. So take your feet up into the air. If you can't reach the feet, it's okay to hold on. Backs off the thighs, your shins, your ankles, wherever you can comfortably reach, making sure that your ankles are actually over the knees. And then drawing downwards. Downwards, the knees towards the floor. If you're rocking from side to side, that's fine. And then to release, bring the feet together. Maybe step them to the ground, let the arms open. And you could remain here in a constructive resting pose, feet wide, knees together. Or you can extend the legs out for Shavasana. And of course, there is that option of supporting yourself with a bolster underneath your knees. Let yourself find stillness. It's a couple of minutes in which there's no movement. And if you happen to move, notice. Ashdeya, or non-stealing. Do not rob yourself of experiencing life as it is in each moment. We have the opportunity to experience a vast array of emotions and sensations, yet we tend to cling only to those which seem pleasant and enjoyable. This aspect of clinging a little too tightly to pleasurable experiences is known as raja. And although the experience itself may be one of joy or happiness, the action of trying to hold on to it out of desire ultimately creates more suffering. Oftentimes we have an aversion to pain or suffering. Basically that feeling we get when we try really hard not to feel a painful or emotional sensation. Continually running around in circles after experiences which bring us only pleasure. Keeps us looking in a circle of wanting and desiring, which, if we really think about it, never really ends. So don't take away from yourself either. As you begin to deepen your breaths, moving your body gently. If you have lots of time left, please remain in Shavasana if that's your choice, or join me now in a seated shape. As we bring our hands together in front of the chest, turn to one side, just the head, and center it again. And turn it to the other side, centering it again, acknowledging that life is still on your side. As we lightly bow the head and extend to each other. Namaste.